Hello, Internet. I am back with Blue Exorcist, chapter 117. I still have a little bit of a cold. It's mostly in the nose, which, given my past problems with saying the word exorcist, might be a bit of a pain to open with this series in particular, but that's what we're doing. I also have my water bottle here in case I need it because of, still suffering a little bit from the cold, basically. So basically, when we last left our heroes, all hell is breaking loose, but with Mephisto's help, Shiro was able to seal Rin's demon heart in the Coma Sword, and it looked like things were basically going to be fine until Satan showed up, not Shiro, and possessed Abel Franken, the current paladin, accused Yuri of being in love with Shiro instead of him, and then tried to kill Shiro, possess Shiro, and then Shiro, in order to stop Satan, slit his own throat. And that's where we left off last time. And I reckon that's where we're going to start off this time. Right here, as we see, our opening shot is still, Satan Shiro screaming out as he's bleeding from his mouth, from his jugular. Gah! He killed himself! And then Shiro kind of, passes out. Or he at least, hits the ground. Father Fujimoto! No! And I think that's still Satan talking through Shiro. He's kind of, dragging his, body. He's on his back, but he still seems to be dragging his body towards Yuri. And Yuri calls out, Shiro! Yuri! And he kind of, leans up. It's really, hard to describe his body motion right here. It kind of resembles, it might be an intentional reference to the girl from The Exorcist, which I've never seen, because I don't really do horror very, very well. Anyway, help me. I love you. And now we see he's back on a more traditional all-fours, pose. That was a real cough. That was not a scripted cough. I learned how to love. I'm human. Yuri can't even look at him. That isn't love. And Satan, this is Satan talking, I'm fairly certain. We also kind of see the little bits of the way Yukio's irises get when Satan's eye is peeking through is there with Shiro. And we see one eye is Shiro's normal eye. This is Shiro talking to Satan. A monster who only knows how to steal. Will never be human. So get lost! And we see, it's kind of really, I feel like I don't know if there is a better way to depict this kind of, conflict between Shiro and Satan. But I feel like this whole sequence might have been, I'm not sure if it would have been better off or worse off if we had a little bit of, Shiro and Satan inside Shiro's mind, so we could really get a better sense of their conflict. Because I'm looking at this, the site I'm on is not really good for page numbers. So I'm not sure what page I'm on. But, it looks like Shiro Satan's kind of rearing up, still on all fours. We see this, what kind of looks like a demon heart, blasting from where Shiro's heart is. And he kind of, falls to the ground. Shiro! He's alright. This is, she looks like she's one of the Grigori Society people who have Shemi in the presence. I think. You're in more danger than he is. I'm going to accelerate your postpartum period. You must endure it. Huh? So I'm not entirely certain. I'm not studied in birth in any way, shape, or form. I know just from looking at the words, postpartum is after birth, right? I'm familiar enough with the concept of postpartum depression. But I'm not. What exactly is there a specific period immediately after birth where a woman is more likely to die? Is she trying to accelerate through there so that Yuri gets past it faster? If anyone here has studied birth in any, I'm not sure what the proper word choice is there. Studied birth seems kind of odd, but studied, what happens to someone who's giving birth. Wants to fill me in on what exactly the postpartum period is in the comments. Please do so, because it seems like it's kind of important, and I really just don't know what it means. Anyway, meanwhile, Shiro is, lying on the ground, coughing. Ugh, idiot. I wouldn't die on that monster's account. I was an experimental subject for the elixirs, so I heal fast. I can rejoin a clean cut in 1 hour. Mephisto walks up to him, but that was risky. Heh, even that won't exorcise Satan, though. He'll be back sooner or later. That's right. And that's the woman who I think is from the Grigori Society over with Yuri. Who is that? That's, Shiro just does not know who she is. And Mephisto replies, oh my, it's Shemihaza! Oh! So I guess I'm kind of right, given all the Shemi theories running around. What? I mean, she's a Grigori, so I guess that's close enough to the Grigori Society. What? That's her? I've never seen her before. You're in luck. And he, feels his neck. My wound is completely healed. Shemihaza's spirits accelerate cell activity. And Shemihaza speaks. Tonight, the other Grigori suffered serious wounds, and the paladin, archknights, and many clergy and exorcists fell victim to the blue flame and died. Yuri Egin, this is all because Satan wanted you and went in search of a body. Yes. So this looks like, are we at the end of the Blue Night? Considering the extent of the damage, I must ask you as an exorcist to sacrifice yourself and thereby sever Satan's attachment to you. Oh. Alright, so there have been theories that have popped up that Yuri might not die. The idea that Yuri dies comes from the fact that she's not there at the beginning and that she dies in the anime. That's not basis to assume that she dies. And it looks like we're going to find out if that's true this month. Huh? What about my children? It would be best to eliminate anything that may attract Satan's interest. But we must keep them until we learn the exorcism method. We see Yuri kind of grits her teeth. Take her into custody. Yes, ma'am. Wait! And Shiro, jumps in front of them to protect Yuri. She's not to blame. Are you interfering? This isn't about blame. Oh, sorry. There's been some weird things going on with speech bubble placement in Blue Exorcist lately. It kind of bothered me a little bit last chapter, but we see here the way these two panels are supposed to be read is Shiro jumps in and says, wait. Then the Grigori Society is like, are you interfering? And then he says she's not to blame. But because of the way they're positioned, if it weren't for this little bit of connection between the exclamation and are you interfering, you would read she's not to blame first. And then are you interfering? And then immediately Shemihaza says, this isn't about blame, it's simply necessary. So it's a weird thing going on. I don't know. I'm kind of rambling. Maybe that's a little bit of the lingering effects of the cold. Maybe. I don't know. I rambled a lot during my Where Have I Been video, too. So, I don't know. I also have always rambled. Maybe it's that. Anyway. You are in the presence of a Grigori. Now stand aside. And Shiro, freezes. And then we hear a no, I think from Shiro, but someone grabs Yuri. One of the bodyguards grabs Yuri, and Shiro points his gun at Shemihaza. I won't let you do this. Pointing a gun at a Grigori? Do you know what you're doing? And one of the other exorcists from the back say, Father Fujimoto! And Shiro turns to Yuri. Yuri, can you stand? I won't let you die. We see Yuri is openly crying now. Don't move. And one of Shemihaza's bodyguards, this is treachery. And so now Yuri is standing, and he's holding them at gunpoint as he escapes with Yuri. And while he's still pointing the gun at Shemihaza, he hands Yuri a key. Open the door with this key. Mephisto has turned back to Rin, who's been hiding in the corner this whole time, and he says to him, come on, you want to see it all, right? Then the door slams. Honor Grigori, our apologies. It's all right. Mephisto walks up to her. It is? There are other matters to attend to, as you yourself know. Besides, she doesn't have long. And now, so Rin is now in the room with Yuri and Shiro, and the babies. And he thinks to himself, I'm really close now. Which, my first reading of that, when I just kind of like saw the line while I was describing the scene to y'all, and my first reading was like, oh, he realized that he's near the end of the story. It might just be that he's like physically really close to them, which is kind of weird, because this whole time I've kind of been thinking that Rin was there, and he's just been like hiding in corners this whole time. Like, that was definitely the vibe I had during the fight with Baby Rin. That he was like hiding up where he couldn't be seen. But now he's like closer to Yuri than Shiro is, almost. So I guess he must really be invisible to the people of the past. But anyway, back to the actual plot. Shiro turns to Yuri. Are you alright? Yes. Where are we? An order field office abandoned long ago. There's a lookout tower for yetis nearby. I've turned it into a hideout. We'll go there when the blizzard lets up. And he lights a little fire on the floor. No one will find us for a while. And Yuri turns to him. You sure like hideouts. Shut up. Sorry about that. Where was I? Shut up. Doesn't matter. And Yuri kind of like giggles. What's so funny? Oh, nothing. Then one of the babies starts like sobbing. And then the other one starts crying too. Oh no, they both started crying. They're twins, so they're in sync. Maybe they're cold? I'll go find better clothes. And he walks off. Be the fire to keep yourself warm. Thank you. Then she like tries to comfort the babies. There. I need to name you two. And she seems to notice something. And then immediately, so I think she's surprised at Shiro coming back, maybe? That doesn't quite seem right. Hey, I found a bag of snacks and some shabby clothes. Basically just rags. And we see... Oh, I know what she was surprised of. So we see that, under her shirt seems a lot bigger than it did a second ago. Welcome back. What are you doing? Breastfeeding. The baby's under my gown. So that's probably what she was surprised of. She could, like, tell they needed to be breastfed, maybe? Again, my knowledge of babies is not existent. It is not existent. Which, honestly, I'm kind of... Like, this series has gotten really... Maybe it's just because we spent so many months on the birth of the twins, that, like, Kato has gone pretty kind of in-depth. More in-depth than you'd expect from a shonen manga on birth. So, like Naruto's birth happened in the manga, and Naruto. But it was like, oh, Naruto's born, and then immediately Tobi has shown up and has kidnapped him, and, you know, Kushina can already, like, kind of fight, but not super fight, because she did just give birth. But no, this is, like, really, really, like, I guess, into the minutiae in a way I didn't really expect. Or that you normally wouldn't expect. I guess now that we're, like, this far into the birth of the twins, that, like, I'm kind of used to it by now. Anyway. Breast? Seriously? In that case, you should eat more. Now, sometime later, they're, like, all huddled by the fire. I decided on names for them. Oh, and Rin is, this little, like, ... speed bubble is Rin off to the side. Oh. This one burst out in flames like a Rinka, so his name is Rin. And Rin is, like, in the background. Excuse me. Rin's, like, in the background, like, that's straightforward. And Shiro responds, how straightforward? And I'll call the smaller one Yukio, like the Yukio Toko. Hey, that was her name for Shiro way back in the beginning of this arc, which I called attention to, I think, at the beginning of SSC. But that was almost 2 years ago, so you know. Why? Rin isn't bad, but why the name Yukio? Are you just goofing around? I'm not goofing around. Yukio Toko are warm and strong. Huh? Anyway, you've barely eaten, even though I gave you mine. Oh, right. Usually you're so mean, Shiro. Yeah, so you owe me one. Teehee. See? Meanie. And Shiro kind of, like, pouts at that. Oh, The blizzard has let up. I can see the watchtower. So we see like a larger shot of the mountain where they are. And we see what looks like a facility where I think they are. And then the top of this mountain, I think, is the watchtower. There's a larger mountain like right next to it, but I think there's still a little bit of a climb to the watchtower, which I'm guessing is why they couldn't go there from the beginning. Anyway, my hideout is safe. It has electricity, water, and food. We should go now. Okay. But just then, she kind of, like, seems that she stumbles over, like, bumps into... I think she bumps into Shiro. Shiro catches her. Are you alright? Sorry, I suddenly got dizzy. Hurry, let's go. And she seems really weak, and Shiro notices that. No, maybe we shouldn't. Why not? I feel better now, so let's go. Sure, alright. You focus on walking, and he gets, like, the twins in this kind of... I'm not sure what... It's kind of like a shawl-looking thing wrapped up in. He looks to be tying it around his neck. It only takes 15 minutes when there's no snow. Will any yetis appear? Sorry about that. All this talking is really bringing back my sore throat. They're extinct. That's why the Order abandoned this place. What will we do when we get there? We'll lie low and keep an eye out, and search for our next hideout. Sorry, Shiro. I made you a fugitive. Heh. Actually, I feel better. I always wanted to be free of that place. Well, if only you would ever be. Because we know some... So this actually does kind of extend the life of SSC, I just kind of realized. Because I was kind of like gearing up, oh, we're at the end now. It won't be long until we're finally back to making, like, forward progress in the storyline. But now we just have another like, thing to deal with. Because now Shiro's a fugitive who threatened a Grigori, and somehow he has to end this arc as a paladin. So that's just more and more time to spend in the past. And generally, like, when this arc first started, and even throughout, I've kind of been comparing to 2CT over in Black Butler. But while that arc, and I thought this was better than, I still think it's better than 2CT. Because while they both kind of completely derailed the momentum of the main story, SSC has at least been an interesting enough story on its own to, like, justify the massive length, whereas 2CT really wasn't, especially in its earlier chapters. But still, this just kind of goes to show how long of an arc this is setting up to be. Like, really, I think, I'm not sure how I'd cut SSC down, but I definitely think we should not have spent... Even with those, like, 2 or 3 chapters we spent back in the present, I think without those 3 chapters, we've spent 15 chapters in the past, and I think that might have been a mistake. Anyway, actually, I feel better. I always wanted to be free of that place. And he pauses. We should have done this sooner. This time, let's really live together. Well, this is really good for all you Yuri Shiro shippers. I'll be the father. And you'll be the mother. It'll be fun, yeah? And Yuri starts to, like, cry, but she fights back her tears. Yes, that would be nice. And he looks back at her as she hits the ground. Yuri! I suddenly felt weak. Carry me on your back. And he obliges, and he's, like, walking through the snow. Well, if I have to. Teehee. I wish Shiro could come, too. Don't be ridiculous. Actually, she thinks we're engaged. Oh, no, that's Shiro talking. Actually, she thinks we're engaged. Teehee. But me being a dad is ridiculous, too. I have no idea what to do. In the spring, we'll throw beans to dispel evil spirits. You can be the demon. Huh? And we'll go see the sakura trees in bloom. In the summer, we'll go to the beach and do fireworks and eat watermelon. In the autumn, we'll eat lots of good food and put them to bed in warm blankets. In the winter, we'll always have a birthday party. Shiro, you can be their father, however you see fit. Though we are really seeing the building blocks of how he ends up taking care of them in the build-up to the start of the series. And someday you'll be their real father, so it'll all be fine. Yeah, as long as you're around. And then she falls off his back. Yuri! Whoa! Are you alright? And she doesn't respond. We're almost there, so stay with me! And she, like, weakly reaches up her hand towards his face. Rin. And Rin, the present-day Rin, watches them. Yukio. Be good brothers to each other. And Shiro watches her as her hand falls. And she cries. And Shiro just, watches. The hand continues to fall and, slumps to the ground. No! Hey! Wait, don't go! She's still... This can't happen! Please! Warm! I'm begging you! Ever since we first met, I've always loved you! That's not as good as he thinks it is! Because as I recall, she was like a little kid, and he was already basically an adult when they first met. So I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know. And he kisses her while she's unconscious / maybe dead. Listen, can you hear me? And she doesn't respond. It's no use. She can't hear anymore. She's gone. But a moment ago, she was laughing. And Shiro starts to cry now, too. Gah! And he holds her and screams, tears flowing down his face. Something seems to be going on behind him. I can't quite tell. Why wasn't I more? It's me. It's all my fault. I did this. And he keeps sobbing as he holds her tight. And the babies start crying from the little bag they're in. Wah, wah, wah! And Shiro looks at them, and he lifts up the bag. And out appears a yeti. There's still a yeti here? And the yeti, looks at him. And the yeti swipes at him. He's sent flying. He's separated from the kids. He's, badly bleeding from his chest. The kids land somewhere away, and he lands, I think, still clinging to Yuri's body. He hits the ground, blood splurts out of his mouth. It looks like Yuri's gone, actually. And he keeps coughing. And he opens the eyes, and he sees the yeti. This is perfect. I'll just die here like this. I could have been kinder. I could have protected her. But I let her suffer and die. I think... One second. Desperately need more water. I was trying to hold out because I thought we were almost done with the chapter. But we were not almost done with the chapter. But anyway... I think that the present day Rin is going to somehow kill the Yeti and interfere with the past somehow. Anyway, but I let her suffer and die. I can't sneer at monsters because I'm the worst monster of all, and I've lost the will to do anything. And he lies there. Next chapter hits February 3rd. All right, this was an incredibly big chapter, just in length too. It felt like it was 50 pages or something. Which might have just been my sore throat wanting me to stop talking. But anyway, where was I? So yeah, so much fucking happens in this chapter. From Shiro driving out Satan. For now, Satan will of course come back in 15 years to finish the job. To Shemihaza trying to kill Yuri. To Shiro, trying to kill Shemihaza, which ends up being kind of a pointless move, because Yuri dies immediately afterwards. Especially because Shemihaza says, let me see if I can find it, that, they can't kill Rin right now, because they don't know how to exorcise him. Which, maybe would only give them, a month or two. So maybe it was still a fruitful endeavor to steal the twins, because they're only alive today because of it. Perhaps. We're not quite entirely sure right now. But anyway, we do see at long last, the love between Shiro and Yuri fully play out, just in time for Yuri to die. So, not ideal for anyone. Yeah. One second, I need more water. Damn, this vid is doing a number on my throat. I thought I was, almost healed. I am not. Anyway, where was I? So yeah, now we still, more things to cover in SSC, as even though Yuri is now dead, which covers one of the major things this arc has to get to, we still need to find out how Shiro both gets back in the True Cross's good graces, is made paladin, and gets away with hiding the Okumura twins. Though it might be kind of like what I recall happened in the anime is that he told them the twins were dead, and then Rin and Yukio were just like other twins that just happened to show up. Or maybe he never told the True Cross that children were born. Maybe, I'm not entirely sure. But it would be very suspicious if Shiro shows up with two twins that are in no way related to Yuri somehow, despite the fact that they have names that were based off of Yuri's life experiences. Which, how much the True Cross knows about Yukio Toko, they probably know about Rinka. Yukio Toko and Rinka, and Okumura, which, as we learned last month, comes from one of the homeless people that Yuri lived with, is unknown how much the True Cross knows about Yuri's life with them. But anyway, yeah, a Yeti's here, and Shiro's on his last legs, and I very much predict that Rin will come in and save the day here. And I don't know if present-day Rin would interact with Shiro, but somehow give Shiro, like, the strength to carry on. Because right now, Shiro is very content to just die. So anyway, that's basically all I have to say for this month's chapter, at least till my voice gives out. So yeah, that's all I have to say for this month's chapter. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, do whatever makes you happy, And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!